those deals where you didn't notice doing it at the time?
Oh, I heard it. I was out. I heard it real bad. But getting hit in the face with a tennis ball,
Hey, it's better than getting run over by a boat.
Yeah. Oh, my mom got hit by a boat.
That's a common thing.
It's out there. It's crazy. People they're not. They rent so many boats there. They're not. Used to driving a boat and they're out there getting smashed. It's like boating and drinking like that is not safe for the person in the water.
Coach, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna run? Couple hundreds?
I thought we'd run like 300s.
There's the man right here, Alan. Look at him go, monster. This is Mike. This is Jim.
How you doing?
You just go. You're KO Tickets, right?
Yes, sir.
At KO Tickets.
Yep.
That's
exactly.
Twitter.
Yep.
Do you have Instagram?
Not really.
You don't really need it. Right?
I don't have Facebook. I have Twitter. That was
Twitter. That's your thing, yeah. Mr. Mike Brown, Coach Schwartz. Coach, you were at the forum last night, eh?
Yeah.
So how early did you get there? How many fights did you catch live?
I got there for the Valero fight.
Valoria
fight, and that was an incredibly good fight. And JP, we went early because JP bet a fortune on the other guy.
Yeah,
and
which was smart. The other guy won handily.
I had that fight. I had a wipeout. I had him winning all 12 rounds, and they took that was the worst ref job. Wow.
Yeah.
He was horrible. Dr. Lou Moret, I don't know what guy. He must have taken some acid before the fight. Something.
That's bad.
He was really bad.
Acid and officiating? That doesn't go together.
I don't think the elbow was on purpose though.
No, but it did some damage though. Woo.
Boom. It was.
Yeah.
It was really,
Barbosa Box says, "What a fighter, Artem Dalakian." I think he's a real player at flyweight. I look at his body and his bone structure, and I see a bantamweight.
Yeah.
And he's got that Ukrainian amateur background. He's athletic. Hi, hey Doug. Hi guys. Is everyone overlooking Keith Thurman? He can beat Spence. Okay.
He's got a fight.
A shot, Junior. Yeah, he's got to fight. Got to fight somebody. He's not ready for Spence right now, and he knows it.
Did you see that guy training out here a few weeks ago, Joe? That early heavyweight.
A boxer?
Yeah.
Joe.
Football player from South Carolina.
Oh no, I don't know who that is.
Joe He was going to Vegas this weekend. I guess he was on call in case anyone dropped out. But,
oh, all right. Football. What kind of? I've never known a football player to really make it as a heavyweight. It's just never happened, right?
The guy from the 49ers made it the furthest.
Really?
Remember Tuchel Jones?
I remember Ed Tuchar Jones. Where's JP?
What was the guy?
He's coming. What do you think Eddie Hearn's super flyweights will bring to the state? Oh, Eddie Hearn, his super flyweight is Cal Yafai.
Yep. He's got a belt.
Yeah, and he was invited to fight on the Superfly 2 card. They wanted more money, and I think they wanted specific opponents too. I think Eddie Hearn would have allowed Cal Yafai to fight on last night's card had Chocolatito been on it. And of course, Chocolatito wasn't ready to come back, and I don't know who. Tom offered Cal Yafai somebody, but I think it was. I don't know. It might have been Inoue. He might have tried to make that fight or whatever. And
So are you tired this morning, Doug?
I'm exhausted. I'm totally tired.
That's a big week for you.
Now, usually, like I was supposed to write like a post-fight column on the main event, but the belt that I presented, the ring title that I presented to Sor Rungvisai, he thought it was his to keep. And they wouldn't give it back to me. They didn't understand, and only one person in that camp speaks English.
Bank.
And Bank, and he didn't, and even he tried to explain to Sri Saket, hey, he's gonna need it back, and Sri Saket grabbed it, and then he kissed it, and then he took off to the dressing room to do the post-fight drug exam, the piss test or whatever, and they wouldn't let me back there, and then they never came out again, and then they tossed all the media out of the arena, and so I wound up following him. That's why I was at the Westin, because I was waiting. I was just there to get the belt back. Yeah. Because I knew they were saying, hey, let us take it to Thailand. We'll mail it back to you once we get the belt with his name on it. And I'm like, I don't believe you. Not that I don't trust you, but I don't trust you. And Barbosa Box says, great job promoting Ring Magazine's 115-pound belt. Thank you. Yeah, that's what we got to. Hey, was that not a fight worthy of a Ring title?
Absolutely.
If those two guys aren't worthy of fighting for the Ring Magazine title, nobody is.
I think they should do the rematch.
Oh, yeah.
I think, I mean...
Tom's talking about that in the fall.
I think it makes perfect sense. I say do right away. The fight was so hot. Everybody had such a good time. And
almost 8,000, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. 8,000 sold, too, people.
No, it was sold.
No papering there.
When you scale an arena and then you actually have to open up additional seats, that doesn't happen often enough. And that happened last night. And the energy, the crowd, and the fight, it deserves to happen right again.
So what was it originally scaled for? 6,000?
Exactly.
Okay.
Roughly 6,000.
Yeah.
Everything was sold initially. The far end, opposite camera, those sections were held back. To sell on the on-camera side, sell very well. Those were opened up.
Yeah.
And then eventually the bottom 6 rows of the upper level were opened and they sold. I mean, they were full up there. So
yeah, well,
very successful promotion.
And people got a good fight. The people watching HBO got to see Donnie Nietis, who I like him a lot.
He's good. Wow, is that guy good?
He's one of the best 35-year-old outside of Gennady Golovkin, one of the best 35-year-old, world-class boxers. And it's rare for guys at that weight class to still have it in their mid-30s.
Is that his first fight in the U.S.?
No, he's fought here. He's fought in Southern California. That's his 3rd time fighting in Southern California. He's fought at StubHub a couple times. Yep. Very small shows. I don't think there was any U.S. television. But I'm glad he was on the card. And I wouldn't mind seeing him fight Delakian. Wouldn't mind him fighting did you guys meet the Japanese champion, the WBC flyweight title holder from Japan? Daigo Higa.
I don't believe so, no.
He was there. So if Nietes were to fight Higa, that would be a unification fight. And they're the Ring Magazine's #1 and #2 rated flyweight. So the Ring Magazine flyweight title will be on the line. Yeah.
Two belts in one night. That's quite a...
That would be nice. Yeah.
That would be a packed house.
I'm hoping Higa gets on Superfly 3. And I'm hoping to see some of the folks back. I thought Arroyo, McWilliams Arroyo, fought really well against Quadras. Thought he deserved to win that fight. I did have it close though. And of course the main event, forget about it. That's boxing at its best. So anyways, Coach, we're gonna run some hundreds, right? Yeah. All right. So when we come back, folks out there in the Periscope verse, what a performance by McWilliams. He was the B-side in the middle of a huge Mexican crowd. Yeah. But I don't think there were any Mexicans that were complaining about Quadras not winning that fight. Yeah. You see, Quadras talks a lot of shit and then he doesn't quite back it up. He's a good fighter, but he doesn't match the boasting.
He's got a huge personality.
He does. He does.
I was in the elevator
for Mexicans, they want you to back that shit up. 100%.
I was in the elevator with him prior to the press conference, and he's on the phone. He goes, "No, I have to practice English. Talk to me in English." And, and he's just like jumping around the elevator. He's got a personality.
He does.
He's an exciting kid. So.
But the Puerto Rican was just a more solid fighter.
He beat him.
He was, yeah.
The Puerto Rican was moving him with his punches.
He was.
Quadras wasn't moving the Puerto Rican.
No, he wasn't. Not at all. And I think Arroyo he's a worthy challenger for any of the super flyweight title holders.
Stay with Abel?
What was that?
Do you think?
I don't think so. I think
he'll.
I think Quadras goes back to Rudy Hernandez, or he finds somebody else. He'll stay in Southern California, I bet you. But he could go to the desert with Joel Diaz, or wind up in Riverside with Robert Garcia. I mean, maybe he'll find somebody who meshes right with him or can crack the whip enough. But he needs more technique. He's got the athleticism. He's got the endurance. He has the experience. He's a versatile boxer, but he doesn't have the leverage he should get on his punches because the technique isn't there. His hips aren't under. His hips aren't shifting.
Do you think he has a real desire to work out like an animal?
Yeah, I mean, if you push him, he does. But then between camps, he parties and all that.
You got to push him.
Right, exactly.
It's not from the inside.
Right.
He's not the kind of guy Abel wants around him.
Yeah. But I know there were a lot of fans that were upset that Srisaket Rangasai won that fight, and I disagree. I think Srisaket deserved it. Whether you saw it a 1-point fight or 115 to 113 or 116 to 112, which I could easily see. That's how I had it.
Let me ask you this.
What?
What if you had Nevada judges judging that fight?
Oh, Estrada would have won.
Easily.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And I factored
He was the
that
crowd
in.
favorite.
Yep.
He was. They were there to see him.
They judge by the crowd reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Exactly.
one thing you find oftentimes when you have a Mexican crowd like that. They're so passionate into the fight. Estrada is like, in
That's
my
right,
opinion,
Barbosa.
he's getting beat,
Yeah,
but he'll throw a
overhand right,
punch
Quadras'
and
his
he'll
only
like
power
bounce
shot.
off the shoulder, and the crowd like explodes because he throws a big punch. And it's like, but the punch didn't score. It's just, but the crowd is like,
Yeah.
and you know, it's like the judges hear that. They're like, you know, it's a factor for sure.
Yeah.
But Nevada more than
It's
crazy.
pathetic.
For so many years. The same guys for so many years. And we have someone walking in here.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
Triple G is going back there with Canelo.
Uh-oh. Well, somebody agrees with me. This dude says he was pro Estrada, but he didn't take it away from Sorung Vasai.
We'll do that next time.
There he is.
Am I late?
Yeah.
Are we already streaming?
No, I was just doing the warm up. We're gonna run a little bit, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna run, people. We're gonna run. You guys know who this is. What's up, Tom?
How you doing? Nice to see you.
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown, good to see you.
Hey, somebody
What'd you
asked,
think about
do
that
we think
Superflex
Jack
show last
do we,
night?
do we think Jack Reese missed a knockdown?
Positive.
Was sore?
That was enough.
Who got knocked down?
Sorungasai.
Sorung Vasai. What round are you talking about?
Yeah, but there was also on the Estrada side, so I
Hey.
think he was kind of consistent.
Hey
on
boys,
not
fun
knocking
last
him
night.
down.
All right, Tom is there. Yeah.
Tell me how you
What's up, Larry? That was Larry.
I'm wearing the 360 hat.
Yeah.
One of our first promotion last night.
Yeah.
Great job, Tom.
Thank you. It was a great turnout, great support from the fans. What'd you think, Coach? You've been to many boxing fights. What'd you think about the energy in the arena for the small guys?
It was the best. It was incredible. But you know, I was watching you the whole week, and at the media press conference, you're so calm. You got everyone yanking at you, and you're just so calm.
Yeah.
You're accommodating everyone. I saw you at the weigh-in, same deal.
How about that robe?
I got the robe.
There you go. And he kept it on. That was good.
WBC, yeah.
He kept the WBC robe.
Last night, it's incredible. I mean, it's just everything went perfectly. And you know what I like is the way every fight. There's no
Yeah, Ryan. I like the Pedro Duran fight.
Right.
But I mean, one after the other.
Right.
And I think it was legitimately a draw, too.
Felt good. It was perfect.
And we probably have a fight of the year candidate from last night.
Definitely got a round of the year.
Round of the year.
Quadras Arroyo was a great fight.
Yeah, it's quality.
Arroyo really impressed. I thought Quadras had the edge on that one. And,
Yeah.
And Arroyo really came to fight. Yeah.
Yeah, and he started quickly.
I kept saying, whenever you have that Puerto Rico versus Mexican matchup, it just rises to a different level.
Yeah.
For national pride.
So are you going to have a rematch with these two guys?
I don't know. I mean, it would be great to do it. It would be natural just from the fan reaction. HBO was happy. The forum was happy. Jim Boone, how did the tickets do at the forum? Jim Boone is a ticket expert here.
Well, as I mentioned earlier, when you scale an arena and you sell that out and you have to open additional seats, that is the ultimate goal. And it was completely sold out. There was nothing left.
We opened the upper level at the forum. I don't think that's been the whole upper level has been open since Triple G fought there against Dominic Wade. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it was a great energy last night in the crowd. Almost 8,000 fans, just shy of 8,000, and to see them turn out and support their favorite fighters, the small guys. It's they left everything in the ring. They showed all the heart. I have to report that Revico is doing well.
Oh, yeah, he went to the hospital right after, didn't he?
Last night, he looked a little bit shaky when he wobbled in his corner, so they took him for precautionary measures to the hospital.
Hats
Checked him
off to
out.
his corner
Yeah,
for just throwing in the towel, Yeah, because
It was good.
he was hurt. And he had a hard time making weight.
Yeah, no, it was all right. It was good. It was a good.
That's perfect.
Hopefully, we'll have a few more shows this year for the fans. So March 27th at the Avalon Theater, we announced Brian Sabayo signed with 360, and then now we'll be working on Cinco de Mayo. That's Triple G Promotions up in Las Vegas.
Time's going to fly right by, and
for the rematch.
And the big kickoff press conference for the rematch
night.
is
That's
Tuesday.
open to the public.
Open to the public. LA Live.
Yeah, that's right.
And there's no press tour, right?
It's just the LA Live.
Yeah, that's it.
Remember I was telling you, Dougie?
Yeah.
I wouldn't do the tour.
Dave Schwartz
Right.
said everyone knows about the fight. We don't need a tour. Oh, JP.
So they listen.
JP is here.
Take over for you, Doug.
Yeah, I don't know. Are we gonna? Lomachenko. Oh, where you get that, man?
It's not official, but you get it.
Uh-oh.
Redbubble. Yeah, redbubble.com.
Oh, Redbubble. Yeah.
They just do artists.
You almost had a heart attack last night.
Oh, Delakian, my man, made me a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the referee, terrible. He was taking points from Delakian for no reason.
I know. That must have drove you crazy.
Was he the underdog in that fight?
He started the underdog, closed a 2-1 favorite.
Wow.
Huge money on Delakian. But they're not always right. Huge money on Estrada as well.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, and it was incorrect. But my whole process was go big on Delakian. After we talked during the week, I was sure he would win.
Yeah.
And then just very small on the main event, which I lost on Estrada. But the whole thing was to go big on Delakian. It was tremendous.
Arroyo really surprised. He was a big underdog, Arroyo, and he won the fight.
He was tremendous. Really good.
Yeah. How much of an
performance.
underdog was
I
Arroyo?
think, wasn't Quadros like a 6-1 favorite or something? Like that?
People slept on Arroyo.
Was minus 550 is what I saw.
Who was minus five? Who was
Quadros.
Quadros? Oh shit, he was like a 5-1. Shit. Wow.
So Doug, there was 2 really big upsets yesterday. So Quadras lost, and the prospect in Britain, Zelfa Barrett, lost as a 25-1 favorite yesterday.
25-1
anything
favorite
can
loss.
happen.
There's no such thing as easy fights,
And
people.
Lulu,
Houghton, she lost.
Did she get
lost
beat?
it,
Yeah.
Oh,
She
wow.
lost
We got
an
that
8-rounder.
after
So that shows how well matched those
true.
fights were.
Yeah, and Pedro Duran, who's a local prospect, had to settle for a draw.
Ryan was in a fight for his life. Yeah.
There's no easy fights, people.
Yeah.
There's no easy fights.
But Arroyo came out in the first round trying to knock him out, fighting incredibly well.
Right.
I don't think Quadras was ready for that. 2 years on the shelf, Arroyo.
Started fast.
He
Yeah.
comes fighting
That's
like
what we were
that.
just talking about. Whenever you have that matchup between Puerto Rico and Mexico, it's a national pride. They just rise to a whole different level.
Yeah, that wasn't lip service,
As
man.
we were walking out, there was a bunch of people. We were talking with Mike Baca and a bunch of people. People were so excited about the event, and they said, "Bring Arroyo back, maybe Nietes, maybe a fight against."
Yeah, somebody just asked, Jacob Caldera asked, what's next for Arroyo? Arroyo won the WBC's silver
Right, he's
title,
a
which
silver.
making him basically the mandatory
He's
for
He'll
Sorungasai.
be the top-rated challenger. They have
Yeah.
to still mandate
Yeah.
when the mandatory will be due. But
Yeah. But he's in line.
with a win like that, now he's right back. Look, you're so interchangeable. Johnny Nietes had a good win last night.
Yeah.
So it's
Bring back Donnie, man.
You know,
I like him.
Dave and I were at the Wade Triple G fight, and Arroyo fought Chocolatito on that card. And people don't realize what a great fight that was. Arroyo was right with Chocolatito
Yeah.
for 8
Yes,
or
he
9
was.
rounds.
he was.
So
He
very
lost the rounds, but he lost them very competitively, very close.
Yeah.
So on the scorecards, it looked like Chocolatito shut him out.
No.
But it was every round was very competitive.
good. Very good fight.
Hey, so
Very
JP,
competitive.
do you think Tom has a future?
Oh, it was incredible. What is
It's going to be March 27th at the Avalon.
March
That's
27th, we were
Avalon
telling
Theater
people on
in
the way out.
Hollywood. Yeah.
Hey, you listen to me. Pro
Well-
debuts. That's
Yeah.
where it is.
You know what the great thing about
Ryan Savario is that guy can fight.
He's a musician, too.
He can sing. Yeah.
Tom, this is a testament to you. People on the way out were so excited after the main event, and they said, "When's the next show?" I said, "March 27th." March 27th.
There you
Get
go.
there.
And I met all the guys that were doing the tailgate party in the forum. That's become legendary now.
Yeah.
The tailgate. So I
Mr.
went over
Boxing
there.
Guru.
Took
Oh, is that who does
Boxing
it?
Guru.
Yeah.
Took a photo with about 60,
That's awesome.
60 people out there. It was pretty cool. Yeah, it was nice interacting with the fans.
What an event.
So
And
how'd you sleep last night?
Didn't get much sleep, but it was it's good. It's nice. We were happy that again that Rebeco, everything's okay with him, and just that the fans had a great time.
what did you think about that 12th round? Every single person on their feet.
Fight of the year, round of the year. I mean, that as we were saying, each one of those fights could have been fight of the year, and the main event really delivered. And you got to give Estrada a lot of credit. A lot of fans came out to see him, and he fought like a champion. He fought like he really wanted that title. It was very close. It could have been a draw.
Yeah.
Could have been 1 point Rungasai, maybe 2 points Rungasai. Just depends on how you scored it. But I got to say the judges got it within the margin of error, I think.
You guys might have already talked to this before I got here, but I personally had 7-5 Estrada, but I was fine with 7-5 either way. I didn't like the 9-3 card. Jim, how did you have it? Did you score?
116, 112.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I had it for Sorungasai.
Dave?
Well,
Dave was just enjoying the
I
fight.
factored in the judges.
Yeah.
So I thought that I had the Thai guy ahead 5-1.
So did I.
And
After
everyone
6?
thought I was
But I thought
crazy.
Estrada. Okay.
And the Thai guy is this guy.
He just seems like he's so calm and collected. He
he
wasn't
is.
breathing hard.
No,
He just had
it's-
the same expression on his face the whole time.
But I was watching
And,
him at the media day.
Yeah.
This guy's very spiritual.
Yeah.
He's like a monk.
Yeah.
And he's really got his act together.
Yeah.
And really.
Daily meditation.
Well, I think I was rooting for my bet a little bit because most of the people I respect had Rungvisai from 16-12 to 15-13. And I think
Yeah.
15-13 is a good score.
Yeah.
And I think you could go a draw, but 9-3.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That was a little bit
9-3.
wide. Yeah,
That was a
didn't
bit wide.
catch the names of the.
I think that was Steve Murrow, they said.
Murrow.
Somebody named Jacob's asking, is there a rematch clause? Jacob,
For that
I
fight,
assume
no.
you're talking about the main event.
The main event, Rungvisai versus Estrada. No, that was a mandatory fight.
Yeah.
So we didn't have a rematch.
Yeah, you
clause.
can't have rematches for mandatories.
You can negotiate them, but
Yeah.
they're not obligatory.
Right.
So, but I think, look,
The
Estrada,
answer is
I know
no,
he
no
would
rematch
have another
clause.
shot at that WBC title, and Rungvisai has proven he'll fight anyone. So
He will
that
fight
was a
anyone.
tremendous,
I saw where
tremendous
Rungvisai
matchup.
made $250,000, which was more than almost everyone else combined. So do you think in the rematch you're going to have to pay him more than that?
Well,
That's a
put
loaded
this there.
question.
That's a loaded question. That's a loaded question.
Technical difficulties turn out.
Yeah, right.
A lot of, there's different payment
Yeah.
streams like promoters.
Yeah, a lot of these guys,
especially
Dave, they have international TV money.
Right.
Like a lot of these guys, what the commission reports is not what they're making
That's what Steve Campbell
from the
was
fight,
saying.
and they don't want all the money that they're making from the fight to be reported here in the U.S. because they got to pay U.S.
There's
taxes
also
for that.
Promotional rights that
Yeah.
they get paid and
Yeah.
things like that. So the purses don't always reflect the complete.
And Tom, there was a lot of international television, right? There was 3 stations, three channels
stations
in Mexico.
In Mexico,
Yeah,
3 stations in the Philippines.
in the Philippines. Yeah,
2 in Argentina.
yeah,
Ukraine showed it.
Yeah.
We did Ring TV. We opened up the stream.
I was going to say.
Yeah,
I
for the
found out
UK
people
fans.
were complaining in the UK that no
Oh.
one picked it up.
There you
And I
go.
talked to HBO because HBO had the rights for the UK.
Right.
And I said we can't leave it dark there. So I worked out a deal with Ring TV where they geo-blocked it just for the UK.
Yeah.
And so we were happy to be able to bring it to the.
Tom,
to the
you
UK
know that I
fans.
watch a lot of fights in the UK, and I have a lot of friends out there, and you are very popular this morning in the UK because these guys were furious yesterday.
Yeah, they were
because
freaking out.
They had to pay.
Hopefully the word got out soon.
they had to pay for that Callum Smith
They had to
fight,
pay-
right?
We just did it yesterday.
I
Word got
know.
out because the thing is, these guys are diehards. They had to pay for Callum, which Nicky put up a really good fight actually.
Nicky's
but
tough.
They had to pay for Callum.
For a
They had to
kickboxing
pay for
machine.
Eubanks and Groves,
Right.
and then Box Nation and Sky didn't pick up Superfly, and they
Didn't
were
pick up.
furious.
Yeah.
These guys were writing them hate
And
tweets.
360 and
Yeah.
Ring TV brought
Came
it to them
through.
for free.
They came
Yeah.
through.
right,
They were
man.
so thrilled with you.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, they were really.
I mean, we
That's all
worked so
about.
hard to put that show together. It would have been a
Right.
shame for it not to be shown.
British fans not to see that? That's
And
nuts.
we didn't make a dime on it. I just wanted to make sure
Yeah.
that we got the exposure in the UK.
Well,
Right.
also, you know, gambling's very big in the UK, and these guys all had bet on. They'd all bet on
They
Delakian.
wanted to see.
Yeah.
wanted to see what was
Everybody
going on
wanted to
over
see
there.
Brian's fight because of Delakian.
Did you give Kevin Kelly a drug test afterwards?
Oh, his scorecard was nuts.
Because he had it even. He had the Valoria Delaki.
Yeah, the fight even.
You know, he's just probably a Brian Valoria fan. Brian's a great
No,
guy.
12. He won 12 rounds.
He was a good
Oh,
fighter.
He won
because
every
was
single
commentating,
round.
Yeah.
He was commentating.
Now,
fight.
that fight, if I was Valoria's handlers, I wouldn't have let him come out for the 12th round.
That was rough.
I mean,
He had that. I
was
missed
terrible.
that one round, but he had a bad cut on his. That was from an elbow? Or
It was
something?
elbow.
I heard? Yeah.
Elbow.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
That's good.
I was nervous.
It
today.
wasn't gushing. It was actually spurting.
Yeah, it was
It
spurting.
was actually.
Yeah. That was a blood vessel.
I
Yeah,
thought that
yeah, it
referee
was-
was going to DQ him. It was terrible, that referee. I thought he was going to DQ him. He took a point.
Well, he acted like it was a knockdown.
It was crazy.
And then it wasn't. It was a lot of confusion.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but he kept. I mean, that was a.
But I have to say, though, I'm usually hard on Reese, but Jack Reese did a good job in the main event, and the guy in the co-main did a good job.
Mm-hmm.
But Lou Moret in that first fight was driving me crazy. 'Cause I was like, he's going to DQ Delakian
That
for
was Delakian, yeah.
great boxing. So, Doug, I'll grab the camera.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should end this stream and
Oh, okay.
run a few laps and then come back and do like the
Okay, so we're
trivia and
gonna.
stuff.
So you got 400 people on Periscope.
Yeah, it was.
All right.
I think it peaked out
I
on
think what we
700.
should do, JP,
Yeah.
is
That's pretty good.
why
It's
don't
not
we end
bad.
this
That's
part now,
Bounce TV though. Your
we're
phone
gonna
is the
run,
ESPN.
and then we should do it on Tom's.
Okay,
because
so
Tom's got this huge following.
It's going up to 500 now. So here's the
I know
deal.
it's weird. It's
We can
fluctuating
keep
like
it.
500.
So here's what we're gonna do.
Do you have a bodyguard now?
Can't disclose everything, Dave. No, I try to get it.
No, I saw you come into this limo. So are they waiting for you? Yes.
Hey,
So I
good
didn't
morning,
ride my scooter
Scalia.
today.
Good morning,
Yeah, where's the
Scalia. So here's what we're gonna do.
I was running late, so I didn't take the scooter.
Everyone's gonna work out. We're gonna cut this Periscope. You guys tune in a few minutes. Get your questions ready for Tom, Coach Dave, Doug, and we're joined by the great Jim Boone. KO Tickets. If you guys have any questions, please write in. So you got what, like 20 minutes to figure
Mike
that out?
Brown.
Mike Brown in the house. Thanks for being here, Mike.
Mike, you were at the show last night.
I was.
Yeah.
Oh, you were there live
Yeah.
and had 16-12.
Yeah.
Oh, see,
Yeah.
I think we're wrong, Dave. I think Rungasai won the fight. Because we're the only ones who have it for Estrada.
No, a lot
No,
of
no,
people,
a lot of members of the
I had a
media.
bunch of friends that were
They had
were
it
there,
even.
and they thought Estrada
Okay.
won. So
Yeah.
I was
It's
one of those
I'm
fights.
Yeah, I
what do you
think
guys
Kellerman had it a draw.
It's one of those
Yeah,
fights.
it's just one of those.
I just had it a draw.
Well,
Yeah.
let me say my
That's what he said in the ring. After, yeah.
We'll cut this Periscope, but let me say my reasoning. My reasoning is I had Rungasai way ahead, but I gave Estrada a lot of the late rounds.
You give
a
him
lot
the
of them.
11th and the 12th.
Eight,
I thought the 11th could have gone either way.
I gave him 8, 9, 10,
Yeah,
and 12.
I think I gave him the 8th,
8,
yeah.
9, 10, and 12, and I really thought he won those, but I have to rewatch it. I have to rewatch it. But then again,
So do
that
I.
would only get him to around a draw. So
You know, I tried to rewatch it when I got home. I fell
you
asleep.
thought Jacob thought it was a draw.
It was
Okay, folks, we'll
exhausting.
see you in a few
Hey,
minutes,
We're going to be on Tom's.
and we'll be on Tom's Periscope in a few minutes. See ya.
That's Dougie Fisher, the editor, editor,
EIC.
editor champion of Ring Magazine. Coach Dave Schwartz is in the house.
Coach.
Dave, how did you like that Superfly 2 show
Well,
last
in
night?
honor of the Super.
Uh-oh, what do we got now?
And of your inaugural promotion, which was incredible.
Good.
I don't know how you do it. I was watching it all week. You're so calm. You should package that and sell it. And in honor of that,
We're going to have to make some new shirts. Oh, that's good.
You see that Golovkin
The
shirt with the
fans.
blood on it? They got it from this. That's
That's
the idea.
Yeah,
Well, I got it from-
that's a popular
tell them
shirt.
I'm suing them.
Yeah, there you
Copyright.
Dave,
attorneys.
we're in February. Is this promoter of the year wrapped up in February already?
Hey,
It
Tom,
was
really?
fight of the year last night, right?
Incredible.
Everything was perfect. I don't know how you do it, Tom. It's just incredible. But I think you have a future.
I appreciate that, Coach. Then JP's in the house with all the lines and odds and everything like that.
Successful overall. With
Everything you want to know about boxing betting, he's your man.
Mike Brown.
Mike Brown was there at the show last night. Come to support the Superfly. Where'd you drive down from, Mike?
Auburn, California.
From Auburn, California.
And one of the big factors in getting down there was I had to go to the first 360 Promotions fight.
Oh, there you go. Nice. And we have the special guest, Jim Boone. Jim Boone is in the house. Anything you need to know about tickets, that's your guy. So Jim was at the fight last night at KO Tickets.
Yeah, it's a Twitter
Nice.
handle.
Okay.
And you can listen to him on Steve Kim's.
Right. Regular
do the
guest
sh-
on
do the
Steve
show every once in a
Kim's show. There's the face behind the voice.
You're gonna have to get your own podcast, Jim. Serious, man. Yeah.
Doug's practicing the jump rope. So it was a rough night for Brian Maloya last night.
Very rough.
Yeah,
He needs to call it a career, and what a career it's been. But 17 years in the hurt business.
Yeah.
Junior
18,
flyweight, still doing it
Yeah.
at 37. You know, he's
Oh, Barbosa Box says thanks for the great tickets last night, Jim.
Barbosa Box.
You're welcome. Appreciate the business.
Ryan Scalia is online.
Hey,
So
Scalia.
how do you want to? I'm a little bit limited on time, Coach. So
take
how
over.
should we do this today?
Okay, so guys, write in with questions. We only have about 20 minutes with Tom today.
Okay, so I think we'll
I'm
do
wearing a
this.
360 hat in honor of the show last night. It was the first show. We got March 27th, right, Coach? March 27th. at
Viva
the
Barbosa,
Theater
indeed, Steve.
in Hollywood.
Steve Kim in
Tell
the
us
house.
about the guy you signed. Your first.
Brian Saballo. He's a great kid. He's Dominican heritage, born in Puerto Rico, raised in Brooklyn, New York, speaks fluent Spanish, great amateur career, and he's going to make his professional debut at the Avalon Theater in Hollywood.
he's a welterweight,
March
right?
27th. He's going to be fighting professionally at
Who's his trainer?
welterweight. His managers are Tim Van Newhouse and Dave McWater. So got a good relationship with those guys, and they saw what we've done with some of the Triple G, with Chocolatito, with the Klitschko. So I think we've got. I think Brian has a great future.
Scalia says Brian can fight. I've seen him many times. What's
get a
next
good
for
professional
Arroyo, Tom?
For Arroyo, look, when you get a win like that, the co-feature on Superfly 2 on HBO, I mean, the doors are wide open for him now. He's the WBC Silver Champion. He'll be the #1 rated guy. So we'll see if we can maybe make a great matchup for
Why
him.
did he lay off for 2 years?
I think just after that Chocolatito loss, you know, look, outside of these Superfly shows, the small guys really don't get that many opportunities. If you're not a champion, people aren't calling to
Good morning, Bernie.
to put you on the show. So I think that's probably why he was inactive for
Tom
He had at
Loeffler.
least one fight fall
Superfly
out.
is incredible.
Scheduled
What's next
fight.
for Delakian?
for Delakian. Delakian put on a great show too. That actually wasn't on HBO, but it was on Ring TV.
Ring TV.
That might have been your highest rated show there, and Ring TV was streamed also in the UK. We're happy we were able to. That was a last minute deal that we made when I found out. I didn't know, but there was no UK outlet for it, and I was getting a lot of complaints from the fans. And HBO had the rights, and then we just worked out a deal with HBO where we were able to make it work with ringtv.com.
Tom, huge fan.
Thank you to Peter Nelson and to Tom Loeffler.
Tom,
Yeah,
huge
worked out.
fan
Making
of
that
Triple
possible.
G from the UK.
And it was free in the.
Chris says
in the
thank you,
UK, as
thank
Steve
you, and
Kim
he's
said,
got
right?
his tickets. He will be traveling to Vegas. So you got fans from the UK traveling to Vegas.
Traveling
for
to Vegas
Triple G.
for Triple G. We get fans from all over the place.
It's gonna be-
Australia, from the UK has a lot of fans. Naturally, the Kazakhstan, Russia, it's just Mexico. A lot of people come in from Mexico to watch Triple G fights.
We
so.
got some ideas here. Someone says Superfly 3 in September, rematch the main event, and have Arroyo fight Nietes.
That's that would be a good fight also. Yeah, Nietes he put on a great show against Revico, and I mean he's that consummate champion.
Consummate
I didn't
professional.
realize it, but he's with all the promotions. I didn't realize that he's the longest reigning world champion in
10 years.
Filipino boxing history. Yeah,
10
10-year
years.
championship run. So
Tom-
Hasn't
that's
lost in
tremendous.
almost 15.
That's
You
a
got
tremendous
fans all
run.
over the world. This is from Germany. Greetings from Germany. When does Triple G start his camp?
Oh, he's already started. 2 weeks ago he started. He's just kind of easing into it. We're doing the media this week in LA. LA Live is going to, all the fans come out.
Tuesday.
Tuesday, it's going to be evening press conference. So it's going to be open to the fans, LA Live. If it rains, it'll go inside to the Microsoft Theater. But right now the sun is shining, and we're expecting that'll be Triple G, Canelo will both be there. It starts around 6 o'clock in the evening.
So
Does
get
it rain
there.
much in LA?
It doesn't rain very often. That's
finally
why we
warmed
have a
up.
drought. Jim Boone is in from Las Vegas. Yeah, it actually did warm up
finally
today.
Coach Dave, Steve Kim said, why did the Forum Club close so early last night? Magic Johnson would be outraged.
Steve should have come by the Westin.
Did you
It
have
was the lobby scene in the
Oh, yeah?
Westin. Yeah,
It was cracking.
because the fans.
Abel went to the Westin, yeah.
There wasn't a post-fight press conference, so the media and the fans, they wanted that closure of
Yes.
seeing both
Yeah.
of the main event fighters and just saying something, trying to get a picture with them.
Yeah.
But so the media was there, just waiting for both guys. So there was it was a huge scene at the Westin Hotel near LAX, the lobby area.
Doug
That was
Barbosa
great.
Box has a great idea. What do you think of this? He says Superfly 3, and you know I'm a fan of this guy, Higa versus Delakian.
There's
Oh, yeah.
a reason Daigo Higa
Higa-
was there,
Higa
undefeated
was there.
WBC
Yeah.
flyweight
He's a
champ.
monster.
That's right. And
Very popular in Japan.
15-0 with 15 knockouts.
Great
You know
fighter.
what? That's a good. That's a great suggestion.
I love it,
because,
Barbosa.
Higa was there. He's
Yeah,
very personable, and he can fight. And like Doug said, he's a champion. And the way that would be a great unification fight now.
This
Let me
is
tell you, the two most
WBA,
popular
WBC.
fighters in Japan right now is the middleweight, the gold medalist, who has the WBA
Murata.
regular title. Yeah, Ryota Murata. He's number one. And then you got the monster, Naoya Inoue. We all know who he is.
big star.
But coming up fast on their heels already is Daigo Higa, because he's from Okinawa, which is a real fight town in
I agree,
Japan.
Scalia.
And his manager is Yoko Gushiken, who's a Hall of Famer and a former champion, one of the most popular Japanese fighters of all time. So they got a great story, and the kid he's got a personality, and he's all action.
This,
Check out.
this is a
Boom.
Look at Jim. That's very good, Jim.
Yeah, he's like
This is on
Logan.
on a late night. I used to be good at this.
this is a question for the panel here. We'll start with Jim. They want to know, is Rungvisai #1 pound for pound now?
I wouldn't argue that point at all.
Mike?
Somebody on the
No,
panel
let's
thought
not get
that.
carried away.
Okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
think it's getting a bit carried away, but
Bit
I
carried
think he
away?
needs to move
Okay.
up.
Okay.
Because he's beaten 2 pound-for-pound level elite boxers
Okay.
in Chocolatito, and now a closer to his prime, probably prime, Juan Francisco Estrada.
Okay.
He's on a good run. Back-to-back Chocolatito wins, and now Estrada. The first fight with Chocolatito was a Fight of the Year candidate. Last night was a Fight of the Year candidate. Sandwich in between, a Knockout of the Year candidate. I mean, this dude is something else.
I put on Twitter, they came to fight. They weren't dancing in the ring.
No.
You got some of these fighters that go around like who? Like Canelo?
Come on.
These guys came to fight. Yeah, these guys came
Coach,
to fight.
Rungvisai, number 1, pound for pound?
I don't know about that, but I love the guy.
Okay.
I mean, this guy
He is great.
so cerebral, and he's really calm.
Calm.
He's really smart.
Serene.
And he is
Tranquil.
just... No, he's definitely...
Even when he's fighting.
He's definitely a monk.
Yeah, even when it's going life and death in the ring, he's totally calm.
So how high was his stock after the first Chocolatito fight with you guys? Because he's shown some things in these next 2 fights that I didn't come out of that fight with the impression that he had.
Well, the first fight, if you remember, was controversial. That's why the WBC ordered the rematch. A lot of people thought Chocolatito won. I thought he could have won. Pulled out the later rounds. He had that quick knockdown in the first round with Chocolatito, and then Chocolatito came on strong. He actually had Rungvisai wobbled in the later rounds.
Yeah. Yes, he did.
But then the rematch was just an emphatic statement with the knockout, and then the great fight with Estrada. But he's in a exciting fight every time he gets in the ring.
I think Estrada brought out Sir Rungvisai's best, because with Chocolatito, he was being pressed by a volume puncher, and we saw how strong he is, how durable he is, and we saw that he's got that relentless aggression himself. But against Estrada, we saw more wrinkles to his game. We see that he's a complete boxer puncher.
We're asking for an update. They're asking right here, we want an update on Revico. How's he doing?
Revico, we're very happy to announce that he's okay. He
Good.
was taken to the hospital for precautionary measures. They checked him out, and he was released last night. So
I was angry. I thought the ref should have stopped it in between rounds because he stumbled to the side. Very, very
that didn't
bad
look good,
body
yeah.
language.
Yeah, that didn't look good.
And the corner did the right thing because the ref, when the guy can't walk to you, you got to pull the
Stop. Yeah.
Yeah, stop it. Bad job, but
So
very good.
We're happy that he's good. Brian Valoria had a bad cut on his forehead, but Brian's a warrior. He's been doing it, like you said, 17
years.
So, hats off to
And
Brian
he's in good
Valoria.
shape, too.
That's professional.
Mentally, he's in great shape.
Yeah, he's
Like
in
he never
great
had a
shape.
fight.
Very smart, cerebral guy.
Yeah.
Very likable guy. But these are the type of shows that can launch a new champion like Delakian. He won the vacant WBA flyweight title.
That guy was good.
Yeah.
And Delakian he's with Union Boxing.
Yeah, he's in Union Boxing.
Are they out of the Ukraine?
They're out of the Ukraine.
They're good.
The fights were shown last night in the Ukraine. So, yeah, he's another Ukrainian. He follows the Klitschko brothers. He follows Usyk.
Loma.
Follows Lomachenko naturally. And
Devranchenko.
Who's
at middleweight, yeah.
Right, but as far as champion now Ukraine has another world champion.
He's awesome. So, Steve just wanted to let you know it was the right move to be indoors at the forum.
Steve Kim was tweeting about it. It was pretty cool. Steve gets nervous.
It would have.
When it drops under 60 degrees in LA, Steve gets nervous. So.
Now, March.
Because he's wearing flip-flops.
Now,
all
Top
the time.
Rank.
And the capacity, and we had to open up the upper level. So,
it was
so
packed.
Forum has a bigger. I think the Superfly shows have outgrown. I mean, StubHub was great. We did the first Triple G fight there.
Yeah.
Broke the capacity record. Then we did the first Superfly show there, and had the second highest capacity at StubHub. And the Forum was a great energy last night with the upper level.
It was the right move. It was incredible. I mean, and again, I told you this the last time, but early arriving crowd there to see every single
And
fight.
the Forum Terrace is open. The fans were there at 3 o'clock, and that's right. When Mario Ramos, he sold a lot of tickets. He was the first fight of the night, and he had a big cheering section for him. Luisa Houghton, she was the second fight, and then Pedro Duran sold a lot of tickets too. So from the beginning, there was a good energy in the arena.
I got to tell you this story, Tom, real quick. We pull up, Dave and I and Dean Fambleton, and Dean says, I can't believe all these cars this early. He says, there's got to be another event next door. How can... I said, no, the fans arrive early for these
Still
type of
building a
cars.
stadium next door.
Yeah, because you go to some cards there and people show up for the televised fights, but he couldn't believe it.
And I saw all the tailgaters outside. I mean, that's become a
Incredible.
tradition now at the Forum.
Totally
Mr.
full.
Mr. Boxing
Mr.
Guru.
Boxing Guru, Sal.
Yeah, Sal. I saw him. We took a photo together. I actually posted it on Twitter this morning. So it was great to interact with the fans, and we're just happy to have them come out.
Are you
and
selling
support
your
the shows.
autograph now? Do you charge for that?
I'm gonna let you negotiate.
Sign the
that,
shirt.
Dave.
So Tom, I know that you got to go this morning,
we're a little
busy,
tight on
but
time
what's
this
the
morning.
calendar
We got
Tuesday?
some media things starting already this morning for Triple G. We got the HBO filming. They're going to film the face-off between Triple G and Canelo
Great.
today. Triple G's in town. Abel Sanchez is still in town. And
All day tomorrow.
Yeah, and then tomorrow we're going to film Sports Center commercial at ESPN, and then Tuesday we have the press conference.
Awesome.
And then Wednesday we're filming a commercial for the pay-per-view. So it's going to be a busy week. It's only one venue, but it's going to be a busy week for both guys.
And fans can go to Microsoft on Tuesday. Everyone,
Yeah,
LA
absolutely.
Live.
If for some reason it rains, I mean, it's going to be LA Live. Remember the turnout that we had for the open workout?
Yeah.
For Triple G and Canelo. I mean, that the whole plaza, the LA Live Microsoft Plaza was packed, and then this is after work. So we're looking forward to all the fans coming out. We'll have Triple G merchandise out there. All that hard to find Triple G merchandise, it'll be out there at the Microsoft.
Tom Loeffler, when does 24/7 start on HBO?
We're going to film that here coming up probably in the next 3 to 4 weeks, and then they'll probably usually bring it out 2 weeks before the fight. So we'll see that towards the end of April.
So tell us about your Avalon fights at the
Right, we got the club
At
series.
the Avalon Theater, that's right. March 27th, that's going to be the next show. March 27th, the pro debut for Brian Sabalo. Avalon Theater is such a historic venue, and it's going to be a very intimate atmosphere. It's going to be club atmosphere with the DJ and the lights and everything.
cool.
It'll be cool. It'll be like a big boxing party, and it'll be nice. It'll be a nice intimate atmosphere, but at the same time, it'll allow us to put fights on, put fighters on, develop their talent, and that hopefully we'll get them to the HBO level at some point.
So Tom,
Guys
thanks
like,
for a
like
tremendous
Little
event.
Pete and Mario, they
Yeah.
could be on the
Absolutely.
Avalon shows.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
Yep.
Thanks
Yeah,
for a tremendous event, Tom. That was a lot of
it
fun.
was great,
appreciate
Tom.
all the support, and it was good.
As far as the Avalon, you should have ticket information out this week. It should
Yeah,
be later this week.
Later this week, yeah.
If you
Tickets
guys-
there will start. I think the capacity is about 800, so the tickets will start at $60. But it'll be a great show. It'll be great to highlight some of the talent. And there's so many great boxing fans and boxers here in the Southern California area that there's a demand for these type of fights.
If you guys had a good time last night, get a hold of KO Tickets, Jim Boone. March 27th, start supporting these young fighters on Tom's cards. March 27th is going to be the start of a lot of these fights for the
And
club series.
that will sell out. I mean, you're talking a very, very small space there, so it's going to be a packed house without a doubt.
It'll be a treat for the fans. That's right.
And these will be
It's
on.
going to start early. We're going to open the doors at 5 o'clock, so everyone that comes from Hollywood, they can roll straight in there. We're going to have food. They serve food. They serve drinks there at the Avalon, so you can come straight over from work. Go to happy hour. We'll have a happy hour probably from 5 to 6, something like that.
Absolutely.
And,
And
we'll
the
start
building
fight.
itself is, to go inside the history of the place, it's unreal.
It's on Hollywood and Vine right
Yep.
there. Yeah.
And when you kind of sit in the atrium area, you can actually look out and see the Tower Records, the
wow.
Tower Records
Capitol
building.
Records.
Excuse me, Capitol Records. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we should mention we're bringing back the old. It's like the USA field. This is the Tuesday night fights, right?
That's right. Tuesday night fights. March 27th. It's going to be the Tuesday night fight series. There.
Is it gonna
be
We're excited about
streamed?
that. That'll definitely be streamed. We'll release
Great.
that information here also within the next week or two.
Is that a free stream or? Do you pay
We're
for
working on details. Most likely, I mean, we just want the exposure for the
Yeah.
guys. For the sponsors. Tecate's on board.
Yeah.
Chivas is on board. So we're looking forward to.
And
to
do you
that
have
fight
your
series.
announcer set up?
Working on the announcer as well. Michael Buffer did a tremendous job last night. Getting the crowd into
Putting
it.
your resume in, Coach. Putting your resume in.
You want it?
No.
You have a tuxedo.
And we will have a special guest. We'll have a special VIP guest that'll be there. A lot of the boxers that we're associated with, they'll come down and support the show, and so it's going to be one of those things. And then it's going to turn into, once the fight's over, the boxers will stay. They can interact with the fans. It's going to turn into a nightclub, so it'll be a cool setting over there.
That building is beautiful.
It's
and
awesome.
And it's in perfect shape. It's like brand new.
They keep it.
And it's
keep
it's
it
really
very well
from the
done, yeah.
20s.
Yep. 1926, I believe they said
Yeah.
it's built.
Wow.
Yeah, Jerry
Beautiful.
Lewis did a lot of shows there.
Yeah, and so the Beatles.
And the Beatles,
The
yeah.
Beatles
And you
were
were there. When did you go
I
there,
was there
Coach?
when I was 10 years old.
10 years old. Wow. Who did you go see?
I went to Ken Murray's Blackouts.
Blackouts.
Yeah, they were there for years.
We had a few. Oh no, the knockouts last night. Not the blackouts.
Okay, I'll see you in a minute.
Here, show him little JP.
He's taking off.
Hey, Leonardo.
Do you want to leave him with me?
Yeah.
No, he's fine with me.
Let's
Okay.
see your left jab.
Yeah. You can stay here if you want.
He's getting a Sunday brunch one right now.
Okay, yeah, he can stay here with me if you
Is
just
that
want to
okay?
run up. Absolutely,
You
yeah.
don't trust me, do you? I'll be right back.
Okay.
And this is JP's mother.
Yeah.
Look how
Making a
young
guest
she is.
appearance.
I'll be right back.
Okay,
I'd
thank you.
love to
Okay.
sit
All right,
down
all
and
righty.
Watch it.
I'll get him. I'll get him.
Okay.
Dave, Coach, I'm going to hand you the phone.
Very fast. The one girl is very fast.
I'll get him.
She says, I'm coming, so be careful.
Okay.
All right, I gotta sneak away,
Yeah.
Coach.
Hey.
But you still have your trivia for Doug. I guess
we'll
we'll
do-
start a
we'll
third.
do it in a-
This will
we'll
be
go
an
back to you.
unprecedented third stream.
Yeah.
On, third Periscope from
It is.
from
Hey,
the track.
thanks so much for
Following a
last
great
night,
event,
Tom.
so-
It was so perfect. I mean, what a
appreciate
first
that.
show that you had. No
And fans
drama.
came in from all over. There were fans from Texas. There was fans from New York came in.
And Auburn, California.
Jacksonville.
California,
Drove
that's right.
down here.
Jacksonville, Florida. People came in. Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
so
it couldn't have been better.
was
Your
great.
whole week was great. Just really impressed.
And Sorungasai is now a legend and national hero in Mexico. And,
Yeah.
and Estrada can go, in Thailand.
Yeah.
And Estrada can go back to Mexico with his head held high. He fought like a champion. It was a very close fight.
Yeah.
It could have been a draw. Some people had him winning one round. Some people had Rungasai winning 1 or 2 rounds. So it was a very close fight.
And then Arroyo. I mean, that was really
Royal
impressive.
put a big
There's
statement.
a
Look,
guy-
he was on the Olympic team for Puerto Rico.
World amateur champion.
Big puncher. You know, he was really underrated because he lost a wide decision to Chocolatito, but every round was very competitive. So even though on the scorecards it was wide, every round was very close, and so I think people underestimated him. I certainly did when I saw Abel Sanchez was working with Cuadras. I thought that would raise Cuadras' game to a different level, but Arroyo really came to fight, especially with that layoff.
Yeah.
He really came to fight. Now he's in the mix. Now he should get.
No,
he
was
really
good.
earned a world title shot now in his next fight.
No, he was into it. So I just have a little advice for you this week. I
Yeah.
want you to get a lot of sleep.
A lot of sleep. Okay,
I
good.
want you to eat properly.
Now we're going straight into the
Right.
Avalon promotion and then the Cinco de Mayo promotion, so
I
it's not
want you
going
to
to be.
pace yourself.
All right.
And I want you to get good
Pace
sleep.
myself for the
I
full
want you
12
to
rounds, right?
Maybe take a nap during the day. Drink a
Lots of
lot of water.
And
a lot
last
of
night
water.
we had probably leading candidate now for fight of the year and round of the year.
Yes.
So these small guys, the little guys, they really deliver.
Yeah.
It's always action-packed fights.
Anyway, Tom, you're our hero, all of ours.
Appreciate it, Dave.
You're doing great.
All right.
Thanks
so
for coming
we'll
out.
we'll see everyone. You want to shut it
Yeah.
off then?
Yeah,
Doug, and then,
I know how to do it.
Then you guys, and then Doug will start up on his Periscope here shortly for all the
We're
trivia.
gonna run
fans.
some laps and then do some. Yeah, we gotta run, man. John Murray.
The guy who got really beat up by Brandon Rios from England.
Oh yeah, I remember him.
His brother Joe Murray is fighting today.
Oh really?
England versus a very good
This is
prospect.
in Britain.
Yeah, there's a Eddie Hearn's Next Generation card.
What's up, Leo?
Prospects. And we got Lewis Ritson as the headliner. He's a prospect out of England. He can fight. Lewis Ritson.
Really? What weight class is he?
He's fighting Joe Murray. God, these guys are probably getting knocked up. I want to say 135 probably. I could be wrong though.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a good fighter, Ritson. What you looking for, little man?
What's up, Leo?
What's happening? What's happening? What you thinking?
You got a good head of hair, huh?
Yeah, it's almost time for a haircut, I
Mop.
think.
Yeah, he's the mop top. That's
Yeah.
right, buddy.
What's happening, Leo? Oh, Daddy.
Yeah, pick
Oh,
me up.
Daddy.
All right.
All right, Coach. You got some.
Hey,
You
Mike
got
Brown.
some.
I do have
The
some.
Jim Boone. Yeah, that's not Jim. That's Mike. Yeah.
Trivia's not my forte.
So I
And we'll talk
have,
about
last week after we left, I said, well, Doug, you had this one question I didn't ask because it's too tough and I don't want to embarrass you.
Kristofsky says Delakian looked like Prince Hamed at times. You know, there was a fighter named Artur Grigorian. You remember him, the WBO lightweight
I do.
title holder? He kind of reminded me of Grigorian.
Yeah.
He reigned for a long time.
Yeah.
Lost to Acelino Freitas.
Yes, that's the guy.
Yeah. That's who Delakian reminded me of. I mean that as a compliment, of course.
So, Coach, you got some questions for Doug? You want me to grab
You wanna
you?
hold it? Yeah, he's got his hands
Cool
full.
with it, Mike?
Yeah, Mike's good.
Awesome.
Mike's good with the questions
No,
too.
I saw the week you guys did.
He gives them-
So I'm going to give you some.
He calls them on their BS too. I like that.
I'm going to start off with some birthdays.
Uh oh.
So Mike, you can get in on this too.
I'll give it a
JP.
try. I'll give it a try.
Okay. So Jimmy Ellis.
The heavyweight.
Jimmy Ellis. He's passed away, right?
I think he did.
Yeah, he
I think
passed
he
away.
did.
Yeah, former WBA heavyweight title holder, started at middleweight, stablemate of Muhammad Ali. He was out of the Louisville, Kentucky area. They were buddies. Also trained by Angelo Dundee.
Can I add a little piece of trivia on that
Yes.
one? Sure. So, you know who he fought for the WBA title.
That was Jerry Quarry?
Do you know what injury Jerry Quarry had for that fight?
No, going into the fight or during the
Going
fight?
into the fight.
No.
He had a broken vertebrae in his back.
Wow.
From wrestling with his older brother, Jimmy.
Wow.
Unbelievable. And fought the fight.
Yeah.
Old school fighter.
Wasn't one of his better fights, that's
Yeah.
for sure, but
Sure.
pretty impressive.
Unbelievable.
I was at Jerry Quarry's first fight.
Wow.
In LA?
And
Yeah,
Doug,
it
we've
was
got a
at
question for you.
Yeah.
Ask Doug what he thought about Caleb Smith's fight.
Oh, yeah, right. Versus yesterday, Callum versus Nikki Holskin. Did you see the fight? Or were you-
No, I missed that fight. Yeah, because I had to get ready for Superfly while it was going on.
So Callum's going to fight George Groves now.
I knew that the former kickboxer was tough though. He's got good technique, good foundation
Yes.
for a Muay Thai K1
Yeah,
glory
I'll
kickboxing.
be curious to see
style,
your opinion
yeah.
on it because Callum Smith won the fight, but he got touched up.
Yeah, and people are kind of down on Callum Smith now. Everybody's favoring George Groves
Well, the
when that
bookies
happens.
have it close, but I'd have to favor Groves, seeing their performances, because
Yeah.
Callum.
Uh-oh, there goes
There he
Leonardo.
goes. Callum was getting hit late in that fight.
Wow, okay.
Good jab though, Callum.
Okay,
right.
so how old is Jimmy? Would Jimmy Ellis be?
Jimmy Ellis, he fought he was
So-
a contender in the 60s.
What year was Muhammad Ali born? How old would he be?
That's a good question.
I think he's
He-
probably
Muhammad
in his
Ali
late
be in the 70s, yeah.
And Jimmy Ellis was maybe a year or two older than Muhammad Ali.
Jimmy
if I
Ellis was
remember
older than
correctly.
Ali. Is that correct? So I'm going to say Jimmy Ellis would be, I'm going to say 78.
By the way, we had a great fights last night. Comment. That's a bit of an understatement,
Yeah.
I'd say, but we were all pretty high on last night.
Yeah, no, that was quality.
Okay, Dougie.
Yeah.
78.
78, yeah.
That's good.
What was the question you were talking about that I answered off
I
camera?
asked you
I don't
about,
remember.
it was about Mondo Ramos winning the title.
Right.
Against the guy from Spain.
Yeah, the guy from
You
Spain,
knew the whole
right?
thing.
Yeah.
I mean, you knew the guy's name, Pedro Carrasco or something.
Yeah.
So you knew that. The whole thing, I didn't
Yeah.
think you'd get it. You
He
got
won.
the whole
That's when he
thing.
won the lightweight title, and he was
Yeah.
the youngest
Right, yeah.
lightweight title holder ever at the
Yeah,
time. I think he was
yeah.
21.
Yeah, he was young.
Yeah.
Sam Pedro boy.
Yeah, and
he
would
was-
not have a big much of a shelf life because he was living that life.
No, he was. And he was
Boy, was he
drugged out.
popular though.
He was, he
Yeah.
was good. He was really good.
Yeah.
Okay, I've got which punch was better, Martinez versus Williams or Marquez versus Pacquiao?
That's a great
Ooh,
question.
That is a
Marquez
terrific
versus
question.
That's a
Pacquiao,
great question.
but that Williams, see, they both went out face first. The Martinez Williams rematch, one hitter quitter. I think that, I mean, to me that was more dramatic. If you don't know who these boxers are, just because of how tall Paul Williams is and the way he just fell flat on his face, and that crazy ref just went ahead and counted 10.
Yeah.
I mean, they should have rolled him over, taken the mouthpiece in, and immediately got a stretcher in there. You know what I mean? But he had the full 10 count there. But because of Pacquiao's his stature in the sport and the stature of Juan Manuel Marquez and their rivalry and just how big of an event that was, that fight's going to be remembered more. That's the more famous one-hitter quitter. But they're both right up there.
And we've got a question, or
Breathtaking
not a question,
knockouts.
but a comment that I want to get in before it fades from my memory.
Yeah, right.
And that is that Coach is wearing the shirt of the week today.
Isn't that great? That's good. Yeah. I have one of those too.
Okay, I got
It's a
one
very
here.
limited collection right there.
Okay, can you wear it?
What was that?
Can you wear it?
Yeah, I can wear it. Yeah. What do you mean, like a golden boy? Yeah.
Yeah.
They love Tom. Tom gets along with everybody.
Okay, so I
Maybe not team Canelo. If I go visit if I visit Canelo's camp and I'm wearing that, to kind of be
You
like,
know, I was reading some comments, and we're blaming the judges on that fight, but this guy was blaming on the ref. And I didn't, he kept warning Triple G that whole fight about, hitting in the body behind his back.
Really?
But the ref kept warning Triple G, but Canelo kept churning.
Right. Huh.
So he was, he was the one that was sort of getting that going, and he thought that he might have intimidated Triple G a little bit, the ref, because he was on his case, and I didn't realize it.
Yeah.
Did you?
I don't even remember who the referee was.
The ref is, the Mayweather ref.
Oh, was it Kenny Bayless?
Kenny Bayless, which and the thing is, I used to love Kenny Bayless. I thought he was really good, but he's a homer.
Yeah.
He's a total homer, and that all makes sense.
Listen,
I'm going to watch that fight over again.
Yeah, you just can't trust Vegas. you just can't.
Well, you can't trust anyone in Vegas.
No, it's just such a hustle town.
Yeah, I got a couple of questions that I want to catch up on a little bit. One of them you can answer as two guys at once.
Yeah.
So what's next for Lucas Matisse and what's next for Alexander Povetkin?
I don't know. Matisse's returning.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Povetkin's fighting Price
next week. On the Joshua undercard.
Oh, it's the Joshua undercard.
That'll be a knockout.
Yeah, no. So that's March 31st.
Yeah. I don't know about Matisse.
In Wales.
Next.
Well, Matisse is coming back. Go to ringtv.com. There's a story up there about Matisse's return. He doesn't have an opponent though, but he is definitely coming back in a couple months. Yeah.
Your thoughts on Jermall Charlo? Think he would fight Jacobs or
That's what should happen. He should fight Jacobs. I mean, Jacobs should be fighting real middleweight contenders.
I think that'd be
television.
That'd be an attractive fight.
That's the problem because of the TV, because one guy's aligned with Showtime, and that's
one guy
Charlo.
just went to HBO. So
and the other guy's aligned with HBO, and that's Jacobs. Yeah. Charlo needs a fight though. Hugo Centeno Jr. Pulled out. I think they were supposed to fight this Saturday.
Yeah.
In Brooklyn.
Oh, he pulled out?
Yeah, Centeno had a rib injury. Yeah, sparring injury, so he's out of that fight. But Charlo needs to fight. He needs to fight somebody.
Yeah, I have a couple more birthdays here.
Okay.
Okay. So Jim, you can.
I'll try.
Tune in on this too. So first one we did was Jimmy Ellis. And
78. He would have been 78.
Would have been 78. Okay. How about this one?
And by the way, if Jimmy Ellis is alive and I'm wrong about I'm sorry. Sometimes you get mixed up.
I just did that.
I know.
I just did it with Jerry Hoffman. I had heard he had died.
Yeah.
I told Dougie, and then I get a phone call. It's Jerry Hoffman.
Yeah, aren't you glad you didn't say anything on Periscope?
And I went through the same thing with Jack Fisk.
Oh, man.
I heard he had died, and then I got a phone call. It's him.
Yeah, one of the great boxing scribes.
Really. So, okay, here's one that might be a little tough. Rock Newman.
Rock Newman?
Oh.
I'm gonna say Rock Newman. I'm gonna say Rock Newman is if he's not 70, he's approaching 70. I'm gonna say Rock Newman is 68.
You know Rock Newman? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if he's not 60, maybe I'm gonna say like between 66, 68, right around that range.
66. Wow! That is.
How about that?
Him the questions
does anyone know who Rock Newman is?
I don't.
Riddick Bowe's manager.
Yeah, I am.
I mean,
Riddick Bowe's manager and promoter.
Yeah.
Hey,
Spencer Promotions.
if you could even know that is
How
crazy.
about that? How about that?
You better
Rock
go to
Newman.
You should go from here to the racetrack. Okay, I give you this one, and I know you can get this one. Tony Lopez.
Oh, Tony the Tiger out of Sacramento, former junior lightweight champ. Yeah. Funny. Freaking Tiger. Let's see.
So I had a request for Talking Jack versus Steven.
Yeah, what about
Stevenson?
my pick? I like Badu Jack in that fight.
Badu
That's
Jack
dangerous.
is the underdog.
He's the underdog.
Yeah,
Right?
that's a good fight.
What's your pick?
Well, Badu's won me money several times as an underdog. I wouldn't bet Stevenson at a big price. Chin thing. But Badu was the underdog versus
Groves, probably.
yes, and Durrell.
And Jarrell, yeah.
Yeah.
He gets better and better.
No, he's a good fighter.
He's a complete fighter, but Stevenson is a dangerous boxer puncher. But see, here's my thing. Stevenson has been spoon-fed for so long. It's been such a long time since he's been in a tough fight. Yeah. And Stevenson's also one of these guys. He's a bit of a front runner where, like, you hit him back, he loses some confidence, even if you're kind of mid-level.
Yep.
And Jack is solid, man. So.
Very.
I'm going with Jack. I'm riding with Badou Jack. That's a Mayweather Promotions fighter that I love. So there you go. I'm not a complete 100% hater.
There had to be one.
Team Mayweather. There had to be somebody, and they've done a good job with him. So good job, Leonard Ellerby, on that. But Tony Lopez, I'm going to say he's 51.
I am the only one going for Garcia versus Usyk.
Okay. No, a lot of people
I
are
don't
picking
think you're the
Garcia.
only one.
Yeah, that's a bandwagon that's filled up.
I like him.
Yeah.
Anyway, Tony Lopez, 55.
55. Okay.
He's older than I thought.
Okay, here's one.
Yeah,
Ivan
he was kind of
Robinson.
Ivan Robinson.
He's one of those guys that never won a title. So it's
And
not
what are
easy
his
winning
two biggest fights?
Chavez.
Gotti, Arturo Gotti.
Sorry, Gotti.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
Both of them, yeah. Oh boy, those were good fights.
And how old's he?
Ivan Robinson. I'm going to say Ivan Robinson is 45.
Speaking of Chavez, did you see him last night?
Yeah.
He
wasn't even doing his commentary. He'd take his headset off and just yelling.
Absolute apeshit.
The whole
He
time.
was jumping around. I thought he was going to
He's not there to be. He's not there to be impartial, people. He's
Not
there
exactly
to
a
be
homer.
Chavez.
He
I like that.
I know. No, he's into. If a Mexican fighter is behind or is fighting his way back into the fight, he gets into it. But the funny thing is he's got his headset. When he stands up to yell at the fighter, he takes his headset off.
No, he was.
So I know in a truck somewhere, there's a producer saying, "This is great stuff. Keep the damn headset on him." But he's yelling so loud.
But he looks
he's
good,
getting
doesn't
picked
he?
up.
Oh, he looks great. He was having
Keeping
so
his
much
weight
fun.
down.
I mean, he was. I thought he was going to go jump in the corner, start giving instructions because he was jumping around. I mean, he was losing it. It was.
Here's the thing: Strada needed to start his rally a little bit earlier.
Yep,
a little bit earlier, he could have legitimately won that fight.
But Estrada did give him plenty to jump up and down and get excited for in that last round.
Okay, how about Lucian Bute?
Ooh,
How old is Luke? Okay. But no, you didn't give us Ivan Robinson's age.
Oh, yeah.
I said 45.
47.
47?
That's
He's my age. Holy shit.
But he was good, wasn't he?
Really good. Philly fighter. And he was a rival at featherweight in the amateurs. He was a rival to Oscar De La Hoya. They fought 4 times, and I think Oscar beat him all 4 times, but they were very close fights.
Yeah, he was
Really, really
real
close fights.
technician.
Yeah.
we have to have you and Mark Abrams have a contest. Shoot
Mark will
questions.
beat me. I know Mark because Mark really is.
I
sick,
don't know
man.
about that.
Mark,
That would be a battle of titans.
I know Mark will get me on the Philly trivia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he'll get me on
And
that.
we know Bernie will beat you on everything.
Bernie, he'll beat me on skipping rope.
Yeah.
I hear Bernie does the crossovers and the
does.
doubles and triples.
Has he been training with Brian Valoria?
Yeah.
How about Valeria?
Nobody does that.
The jump roping is something special.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Here's a good question. Best chin, Chuvalo versus Triple G.
Ooh. Interesting.
Don't know how you measure that.
I don't
but,
know. Yeah, pound for pound. I
That's-
mean, but
that's even.
yeah, but I see Chuvalo fought so many great heavyweight
Yep,
punchers.
you know what?
Maybe he'd been stopped. Maybe
I'm
didn't
gonna follow up
Foreman
on- no,
stop him,
thank
but
you
it
for reminding me.
chopped him up.
Okay.
I don't know if he was ever out cold.
I think Foreman stopped him. I can't
Yeah,
remember
but
exactly.
I think it was facial lacerations and that kind of stuff.
Hey, so I'd like to ask.
They're both up there.
I'd like to ask Jim a few questions.
Yeah, yeah.
Q&A. Put me on
Yeah.
the spot.
So
KO tickets.
how did you
Q&A.
get started in boxing, Jim?
It was late 90s. I was involved in technology companies, and one of our clients was a ticket broker in Los Angeles. And
Who
I
was
ended up.
that?
What's that?
Who was
it was
it?
box office tickets. A guy named Kevin McBride. And so I sold out my shares of the company. Just the whole tech thing, I couldn't wrap my head around it. I didn't find it exciting. And so he called me, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I sold part of the company." He's like, "What are you gonna do?" I'm like, "I'm figuring it out." And it was right before the Lewis Holyfield rematch at Thomas and Mack Center in Vegas in '99. And he said, "Well, why don't you come out? We'll do a deal." And I was like, "Sounds like fun." And that was the weekend that changed my life. I had so much fun. It was so exciting. I grew up in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I got back to Milwaukee, called my landlord, and said, I'm moving to Vegas. And I've been doing, so it's 18 years of selling boxing tickets. So.
Okay, so what's your favorite fighter?
Tommy Hearns as a kid. When I grew up, I was always a Tommy Hearns fan. It was when I was a kid, they did a public workout in '81 before the Sugar Ray fight in northern Michigan. That's where his camp was. So I was there. I would have been like 8 years old, and so we watched a workout, and then he brought a couple people into the ring, like kids from the crowd. I was one of the kids, so I was in the ring doing push-ups with them.
Was that in Bay Cities?
Exactly. No, it was in yeah, I believe so. You know, I actually just looked. I just saw something about it because the resort is now in bankruptcy, and it's a big issue up there because of the ski resort, all the golf courses. Yeah. And I was reading about it, and they mentioned that's where Hearns' camp was for the Sugar Ray fight. So, you know, always since then, my father had fought in the Marine Corps, so it was always kind of around. He had a subscription to Ring magazine, so it was, you know, it's in the house. And then in college, I went to University of New Mexico in Albuquerque, and so that was like the, you know, early 90s, the Johnny Tapia era. So I went to all the Tapia fights, and it was just, you know, the excitement at the pit with those fights, it was just something else. And like I said, I went out to Vegas for the Louis Holyfield, and ever since then I've been lucky enough to be in a great era of the sport.
So what's the best fight you ever saw?
That's a good question. Matisse Provodnikov, as of like recently, like a fight that was just up there as far as, I mean, so many of the Pacquiao Marquez. I mean, I saw all those. I saw all the Pacquiao Morales fights. Morales Barrera, maybe the second one at MGM I thought was something else.
What about the fights between Israel Vasquez and Rafael Marquez? Were you at the third one at StubHub?
I did not see. I was not there live.
That was crazy.
Yep. There's been so many. I should actually kind of categorize them and have a better answer for that.
Jim, what did you think about Bradley and Provodnikov?
Excellent fight. Excellent fight. And that launched Provodnikov on the run. I was up, and then we went up to Denver for the fight with Mike Alvarado.
Yeah.
That was, you talk about a crowd. That's actually a very good venue there. Yeah. It holds about 5,500 people, packed to the rafters, and I was in the Provodnikov camp. So we were literally, there was like 20 of us for Provodnikov, and the rest were just going crazy for Alvarado, and that was definitely a special night, to say the least.
Oh, I like this comment. Jim is becoming a legend.
That makes it sound like I'm old, so no.
He fit that comment beautifully into a gap in the conversation.
So how can we bring back a guy like Mark Ratner? I mean, he really made it there, and when he left, it fell apart.
You know, I can't remember. I had a conversation with somebody about that recently, and I'm not sure what his deal is with the UFC selling, what his position was, but I know with Bob Bennett, I don't know him personally, but I'm friends with a lot of promoters. I know it shouldn't be a battle. The fight should come together. The commission shouldn't be like a police force. They should be there to make sure everything runs smoothly, that the fighter's health is protected, that everything goes by plan, but they shouldn't be screwing around. In some ways they do, and I was personally involved in his Ab Judah fight that he canceled, and that was one of the worst things I've ever seen. You know, I worked directly with a hotel down at the D. I worked my butt off. I don't care. It's a 800-person fight. When you sell something out, and we pounded the pavement on that, all the fighters are doing consignments, and the day before to cancel the fight over an issue with he might have owed money, you just withhold the purse.
Right.
And they were like, they didn't tell the fighters. I had 2 fighters in my office that day that are chewing rubber bands to make weight, and I'm like, so everybody gets wiped out? Yeah. Everybody loses that for me, that was just a very unfortunate for everybody else. You got 7 fights on the card. That means 13 other guys didn't do anything wrong, and they didn't get paid. Yeah. So I thought that's always been kind of a, you know, in my mind, it was a black eye for the sport in Nevada.
Well, how about all these judges for all these years, the same guys with the bad decisions? They have to do something.
It's the one thing we cannot get right, unfortunately, in the sport, and it's.
Well, when Ratner was there, it was a lot better. I mean, they still had him, but you know that after every card, he would have a meeting with the ref and the judges, and they would review the whole night.
I think they should clean some things up. I know a lot of people don't agree with me. I think if there's a knockdown, it has to be a 10-8 round regardless. There's certain things. I mean, not that comes in that often, but I think there should be certain ways of looking things. And the unfortunate thing is, and not necessarily the judges are wrong, there's a lot of close rounds. Yeah. You know, it's like I think they should give even rounds more often than not. I don't think that a first round where 2 guys are just feeling each other out, why is that round's as important as a 12th round like last night where it's all out action? Why is the first round? Now, granted, last night the first round was action, but I'm saying in general, I think a 10-10 round should be a lot more Why does one guy
Here's
always...
something I'll tell you about Mark Ratner. If you brought to his attention that there was a certain judge turning in crappy-ass cards on a consistent basis, he'd pull that guy from big assignments. He wouldn't allow the commission to put that guy. And I'll tell you one guy, he was an old Nevada judge, been around for years. You probably know the name, Dalby Shirley.
Yep.
And Dalby Shirley, there was a really great, one of the great fights that you mentioned was the first fight between Morales and Barrera at Mandalay Bay.
Yep.
And I mean, it was a very close fight. You know, most people thought, myself included, Barrera won that fight. So it wasn't a problem that Shirley had the fight because it was a split decision win for Morales. So it wasn't a problem that Shirley had scored the fight for Morales. But when they looked at his card, I think he gave Morales 6 rounds in a row.
Yep.
And it
wasn't
like that, right? It didn't add up. It was like, no. They were trading rounds. They were going back and forth, and just straight through. He gave the round. He gave, not gave. Well, I don't know. He had all these rounds in a row for Morales, and I think Steve Kim did a little research. Some people, complaining and made some calls or whatever. So, and this might even be before BoxRec or whatever. But Steve went and found, maybe through Fight Facts, all these really crappy or questionable cards from Shirley, printed them out, and he shared his article with Larry Merchant. And the next time HBO was in town for a fight, Larry Merchant handed it to Mark Ratner and said, "Can you explain this?"
Yep.
Mark kind of read it, well, I'll read it and whatever, and then they called he called Shirley in. And the thing is, you didn't see Shirley, at least with choice assignments.
Yep.
And one thing I think is looked really bad on boxing is when a judge has a very poor card or a questionable card, and you see him next week on TV, a televised fight on a big show. It's like, what message does that send out to the public?
It's terrible.
It's bad.
People want, ultimately, it's difficult because it is a judgment sport minus a knockout. But it just sometimes is like, you got to be kidding.
But we need our best. When the best boxers are facing each other, they need the best people officiating.
Can I go back to a last question?
Yeah.
One of the best fights I saw, like excitement-wise, and when Doug said Mandalay Bay, was when Trinidad fought Fernando Vargas. The atmosphere in that hotel. I think that was like the most flags I've ever seen in that building. It was. God, what a great fight! That first round was something else. I mean, it was the roar of the crowd. So I've been blessed to see a lot of good fights.
Vargas was at the fight last night.
Yep, he's always around. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got a question to catch up on. A reader made a comment on their great respect for Dave Moretti's scoring last night, and I say that with tongue firmly planted in my cheek.
Was Moretti one of the judges?
And
Isn't Moretti?
I'm thinking, and I might be wrong about this, but wasn't he the one who had the main event a draw?
I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I can't.
I was
remember.
up in the ring.
Or either that, or he was the one that had it 117, 111.
The
I can't honestly remember.
Let me ask.
But he's one of those. He's part of the old guard.
Hey JP, how did Moretti score the fight last night?
Which fight? In the main event?
Yeah.
Well, Steve Morrow had the wide card. So
Who
Moretti
had
was
it 14,
I believe Moretti was the draw.
The draw.
Yeah, okay.
I believe he was
so
the
he
draw,
was the
but he
draw.
was either the draw or the 15-13, both good scores.
Yeah, I don't think that's
But 9-3.
that's too much.
Yeah, because I gave Estrada round 2, and I gave him 12. So that's 2 rounds right there. So you only gave him 1 other round. Now, I didn't look at the scores. I could pull it up on the phone, but someone posted the official scores. I think Mike Baca posted the official scores. So you can look at those, but 9-3, that's rough.
I think you had 1 draw, one really close, like
Yep.
114, 113, and then there was 117, 111.
Wide, yeah.
I can see that though. It's all the way you look at the
It's
fight.
all the way you look at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I was saying I think there should be more 10-10 rounds.
Yeah.
I think it was, what's wrong with a tie round? Because
I know.
Yeah.
I think that
It's
just,
taboo in America.
but I think it's a
They do it in
mistake,
the UK.
especially with the first round where early in the fight where nothing's happening, and that round becomes just as important as the championship rounds.
yeah.
I think a 10-10, I think that would solve a lot of problems.
Like last night, the first round.
Close.
I didn't know who to give it to.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. You don't really know, so you just arbitrarily.
Yeah.
You can say, listen, both guys, nobody won the round, or make it a 9-9 round, however you want to score it. But I think that would actually make it a lot easier, because what ultimately happens in a lot of the fights is they're very close rounds, but one guy keeps getting the edge on him, and it makes a
It's
close
frowned
fight look
upon
wide.
because they're afraid that judges are not going to win or make a choice when there's a close competitive
They'll
round.
call too many.
And they're going to have
rounds.
too many. But here's your solution to that: have good judges.
Exactly.
Somebody turns in a scorecard with 6 even rounds. Guess what, dude?
You're not going to. Yeah.
You're not doing this.
Yeah, but what happened
you know
to
what I'm saying?
Luca? He used to be so good, and then he got so bad. I mean,
Yeah.
Well, and
He
Don
was-
Trella.
it's Don Trella.
We all
That's a
remember
joke.
Don Trella.
Don Trella.
Did that cost you any money, JP?
Yeah, it did. I mean, it was a refund. Draw's a refund in
Yep.
Vegas.
A lot of people didn't know that.
Yeah, you lose in UK.
Yep. I know my buddy was in a media room, and there was people, I believe, from Brazil or Argentina, and the guy had a couple like $5,000 tickets, and they're going to throw them away. My buddy's like, "Oh, I'll take them from you as a memento." They're like, "Here you go,"
God.
and he goes, "No, you can." They're like, "No, it's a loser." They're like, "No, it's a push. You get your money back."
Was it on Gennady, the tickets?
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Yeah,
who-
Vegas,
who
you
are
get a refund.
Picking in the Triple G.
That's a good question.
Triple G.
All right.
And what do you think's going to happen?
It's going to be, listen, in my opinion, I've followed Canelo since the beginning of his career. I was the first guy ever to buy his tickets in America. I thought Canelo fought the greatest fight of his life, but I thought he lost. I mean, he was
I agree.
he,
I
he
totally
was
agree.
so good. He was unbelievable. That upper body movement. I knew he was a great fighter. He's a spectacular fighter. But I thought Gennady won it, and I think he's going to get him a second time, and hopefully the judges agree.
And who do you have? Who do you give the advantage to in the experience from the first fight?
I give it to Gennady.
I mean, in changing.
In
You know,
changing?
in changing it. You know, they're going to
I
prepare
thi-
differently.
We'll see how Canelo's going to fight it. I mean, I think there's an easier changes that Triple G can do. Throw a body punch. I mean, I know it was like that he kept uppercutting him every time he'd throw a body punch, and just not letting him out of the corner of the ring. Is like he'd get him to the corner of the ring, and Canelo would dip out the back. So, you know, if they can close that up a little bit, hopefully he can get the victory.
See, I think Canelo might have caught Triple G a little bit by surprise.
Yeah, because he didn't fight him like he thought.
But he pulled it off.
Yeah.
And he followed the game plan. And I'm not a Canelo lover, and I think he fought the fight of his life. He fought a great fight. He was disciplined. He kept the game plan going, and he sort of kept Triple G from the body punch in some way. But
It was the uppercut.
I think in the adjustments, I just can't figure who I'm giving the advantage to. But I think I have to give it to Triple G because
Because Canelo fought such a different fight than everybody thought.
Right.
It was thought that there was going to be fight in him. I mean, the first round when he was moving backwards the whole time,
Yeah.
I was like, this is going in Gennady's way. This is what we want. And then by the 7th, 8th round, I'm like, this is not is going in Canelo's way in the sense that he was almost controlling the pace based on him backpedaling.
So are you picking Triple G by KO or by decision?
By decision.
Yeah. See, the first fight, I was positive that he would knock Canelo out, and he almost did.
I didn't think so. I mean, I thought it was going to be Gennady very, very hard.
Yeah.
Listen, Canelo is such a strong kid. I mean, he is a beast. So
But he learned a lot from that fight, but he also
He learns from every fight.
yeah.
Oh, he just keeps
Learns
getting
from
better.
every fight. I see it. Every fight
He
shows
keeps
me
getting
something
better
a little more.
and better and better. He's really.
I see this as being a more popular fight than the first one. I mean,
The thing is too that with a lot of casual fans and especially the Brits who come out in droves to the big Vegas fights, that money was chopped in between the McGregor Mayweather stuff.
Yeah.
Listen, we felt that big presence. I've had more calls now for this fight from the UK than anywhere else. The UK fans, I got big people I do business with, like companies, like travel companies. It's not chopped in half anymore. You know, this is all May 5th, so it's going to really be an international flavor more than just, you know, people coming from Mexico and Kazakhstan. There's going to be a lot of Brits there, people from around the world. It's going to be.
So let me ask you this: what do you think about the way Tom Loeffler pulled this off last night? It's like magic.
You scale an arena appropriately, which he always does, and then when you can, and listen, there was not concern, but the small guys have kind of been driven by Chocolatito. Let's be perfectly frank.
Right.
For him to outsell the first Superfly, which was a massive success to start with, it just shows the dedication to the ticket end of the business. You know, I work with a lot of promoters, and the one thing about Tom, which I've always appreciated since I'm in the ticket business, is his dedication to the live gate. I mean, he is focused on it. We talk all the time. It's like the live gate,